is my 1999 Plymouth Prowler. 0 to 60 in 5.9 seconds. All aluminum frame, 6,100 miles. Total produced in 1999, 3,921 cars. This Prowler has a matching red trailer. Only 194 ever produced, and I've got one. That will be in another video. When you're a kid, you push around on little Hot Wheels and you always pretend that you're driving it. So here I am, I'm actually driving, my Hot Wheels. So I'm basically living my childhood fantasy. It's fun, it's awesome. So this was going to be my Hollywood superstar car. Every time I went to a film shoot, I would take this car and feel like a star. Even if it was like the smallest commercial or industrial suit or whatever, I would still feel awesome. And it would be fun, what the hell. So everything was going great, actually. I was on set quite a bit, taking the car and having a good time. And then, coronavirus hit, and it's been a long time. I've done some little things and a couple of things outside of my house, but it's been a year since I've been on a full-blown set, so I haven't driven the Prowler, So then recently I did get hired for I did get a booking, and I thought I would take my Prowler, and I thought, well, it's been a long time since I've driven it, so I should make sure it still runs, and sure enough, the battery was dead, so I had to charge up the battery, jump it, and that's when I ran into the problem with the deck lid hinge, or the deck blade in general. Okay, so I'm in my garage. I try to start the car, it doesn't start. So I get my battery charger, put the top down, and close the deck lid, charge up the battery, crank it, everything's great, it fires right up, but I hear this sound, and it's the sound that a door is open. So I was just so thrilled that I got the car started. I'm not going to worry about it, so I back it out, and as I'm driving down the road, I'm like opening up the doors and closing them to get rid of the sound, the beeping, but it didn't go away. So it's beeping the whole way down the street. I'm thinking, well, maybe because the battery had died, something was wrong with some computer or something, and it, next time I turned the car off and started it again, it would reset or something like that. That's what's going through my head. This car is still relatively new to me. I'm still learning things, but the whole way down the hill it's beeping, and that's kind of annoying. What the hell just happened? Holy crap, the deck lid had just flown open. I was relieved that it didn't completely fly off, but when I tried to close it, it wouldn't close. It went most of the way, but it would not latch. So I drove home holding it with my arm so it wouldn't fly open again. When I got home, I took a closer look. Looking at the hinges for the first time, it appeared to me that the bottom of the hinge should tuck away into that hole like most truck hinges I'd seen, but instead it was hitting the floor. So I went to a Prowler enthusiast Facebook group and made a post to see if anyone else had experienced my problem and could help me figure out what to do. Nobody had experienced exactly what I had experienced, but the general consensus was that the hinges were bent. But because of the unique shape of them, it was still unclear to me. What was clear was that I had to remove the deck lid and get a closer look at the hinges. One done. All right, you're holding it.
Okay.
Good girl, hold it straight. Oh! Forgot I have to hold my side. Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay, it should be loose. Yeah. Okay, straight back. That's okay, that was planned. I just didn't know it would make such a ruckus. Okay, so one thing I noticed is the hinge rubs against the weather strip. I can't imagine it was supposed to be that way because that would it would give out real quick. So I'm thinking if it came up a little bit, it would clear it. And pictures I've seen on the web of other people in the Prowler group, they sent me pictures of their hinges, and they do, sure enough, go above the weather strip. And then the other thing is right here, it looks like there is a place, there's a little notch right here, and this is on both sides, where it appears like the hinge should be raised up a little bit. So I don't know if it ever was, and maybe it was just, maybe somebody had installed it wrong in the past, or did some work on it, I don't know. I'm thinking that the top of the hinge should be raised a little bit to where these notches are. And you can even see underneath here, there's a spot where the hinge is coming up against the frame here, and it's clearly not supposed to be touching any of these things. So if you try to lower it, it hits the body right here, and you can see it's not going to lower correctly. But that's what we're going to try to do today, is try to see if we can lift it up a little bit and see if that helps. Oh yeah, look at that. It goes up nice and easy up to where these notches are. But you can see that it was always down low because of the paint here. You can see that it was always like this. So I'm not sure that that was the problem, but maybe it's the solution, so let's give it a try. That's the thing, so I didn't happen to notice how this was prior to the wind blowing the tech lid, so I have no idea, no frame of reference on how it should have been installed in the first place. We're just trying something here. See if it will close once I move it up. And if it closes, then we're in business. It still doesn't explain how this happened, though. Like, what force would have pushed down on this? So the deck lid pops up due to the wind friction, and then what force would push it down so hard that the hinge, which was bolted here, would lower somehow? But I guess we'll find out. Alright, let's see if it closes. Negative. Nope. No change at all. Now I'm assuming that it's supposed to get tucked under there, but maybe not. Well, let's remove it all together and see what happens. I'm going to remove it all the way anyhow, because I'm going to install these little guards here that will prevent future damage to some other stuff that you put in the trunk. So the issue is when you lower this, if you have something in here, it's going to get smashed to bits. So we're going to put a guard here so that if you put in a phone or a computer or something, it would hit the guard and not get destroyed by this hinge. Really hope there's not a nut on the other side of this. Here's that one. There's that one. Alright, so here's the hinge we've got here. Let's take a closer look at this thing. So here it is. This is one of the hinges that I removed. And so, you know, again, I had never looked at the hinges prior to this issue, so I didn't really know how they were supposed to work, what they were supposed to look like. You know, who looks at deck lid hinges on their Prowler, you know? So I had it in my head that, you know, this thing would like go in and then fold into the back, to the rear of the car. You know, it's like this other hinge that I had in my mind, and so I thought it worked the same way. It doesn't. It just simply goes up and down like that, and this is as far as it can go. It can go up and down exactly this far. So it was clearly bent. Now, and you know, the other thing is I didn't really know where it had bent, but now I can tell you it was here. So this part bent back, and that's obvious, or it's obvious now looking at it, but before I didn't know it. But this is thinner than here, so it would make sense that it bent here, and that also explains why it would rub up against the weather stripping. So anyway, so now I'm faced with trying to bend them back, because I'm figuring this is a 99. It wasn't the most popular car in the world even back then, so I'm thinking finding this part is going to be hard and expensive. So And plus I just want to fix, if I can fix it, I want to fix it. So I thought, all right, I can bend this thing back. How hard can it possibly be? So here's what I tried. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. Okay, so I've rigged up something kind of interesting here. So you can see down here are the two hinges, and they're bent pretty much the same, at the same angle. You can pretty much see they're the same angle. So I want to bend it downwards. So I rigged this up, this long pole, and the hinge is kind of wedged under the brick there. So I'm thinking the brick is going to be pretty solid, and I will be able to bend this if it can be bent. So going back to my old high school physics days, I've created a fulcrum here. So all I have to do is apply pressure downwards on this pole enough to bend those hinges. I have no idea how far to bend them, so I guess we'll just give it a try. And then when I get one of them bent, the next challenge is trying to bend the other one the same amount. So let's give it a shot. It'll be interesting to see whether the pole bends first or the hinge bends first. So let's find out. Oh, looks like the pole's gonna bend first. And hopefully nothing flies up into my face. That would be brutal. I'm eyeballing it and it doesn't seem like anything is bent. Let's try a really sharp push, kind of replicating the actual event that happened. It's just a really fast force. So let's see if that works here. I think I'm bending the pole. Oh, definitely bending the pole. Damn it. Yep. Alright, same idea. This time the pole is on the bottom, so at least it won't cave in the middle. The issue I can see here now is the bolt and the nut. So anyway, let's give it a try. I can see already that's not going to work. Okay, so here's the next idea. I'm going to put a towel on the top of this so not to scratch the paint. And I'm just going to try to use this and go for it. Same idea. a little bit less, a lot less leverage, so I'm not sure if this is going to work, but give it a go. I don't think that's moving at all. Well, you know what? I think it did move. Yeah, actually it did. Let's try the other one. I'm not sure if it's from this attempt or the previous ones, but this one is definitely down a little bit more than this one. And that's what we want, so the trunk, or I'm sorry, the deck lid will close and latch. Mostly worried about the bricks. I don't know how much pressure it can take. This one still looks a little bit lower, but I don't think either of them is actually low enough to make a difference. Very hard to tell. Well, I guess we can try the old-fashioned way. Just stomp on it, see if that works. Probably be better if I had metal boots or something. I think that might have actually worked. I can tell by stepping on it, this one is definitely lower than the other. Try the other foot. Yeah. Yeah, probably didn't do anything. At this point, I gave up on trying to bend them back myself. So I took them down to a body shop and asked the guys there, and they're just like, no way. So, you know, I tried. The only thing left was to buy new parts, which is a shame because I knew somewhere out there I could take these to somebody that would be able to say, oh yeah, I'll bend those back for you. It's just I didn't know who and where to go. I don't have any connections or anything like that, and it's a strange request. So even though I'm sure there's somebody out there that could have done it, I didn't know where to find them, and it would be a weird request. You know, you just don't just walk into some shop somewhere and say, hey, can anybody bend these hinges for me? You know, so I went online and found the shop manual for the 99 Prowler, got the specific part number, and then went to some site and there was the part. I ordered it, and a couple of days later, I get an email from them that they're out of stock. So I went to eBay and found the parts there, and a couple of days later, all right, I got my two new deck hinges on the left there, and it's pretty obvious the one on the right is bent out of shape. And we can see it again here. So I took all four hinges down to Don's Body Shop in Castro Valley. I asked them if they could bend the old ones back, and they said no, but they were happy to paint the new ones. So I gave it to them, and a couple of days later they called and they were ready, and they look fantastic. Now they told me that they weren't able to totally match the colors exactly right, but I told them, hey, I'm colorblind, and they look really nice. I mean, a little bit brighter, I think, and you know, that's just fine by me. So I'm very happy with these. Don's Body Shop in Castro Valley, highly recommended. Okay, now it was time to install them as well as the hinge guards. I'd bought these hinge guards long ago, but never gotten around to installing them, so now is the perfect time. The purpose is that when you put items in the trunk, they will not get smashed when you close the lid. So this has never happened to me before, but I could definitely see the potential for disaster. I'd heard stories of others with like laptops and tablets, phones and whatever getting completely crushed and destroyed by the deck lid hinges as they close. So it's nice to have this little bit of protection. Looks good. And we can see now that the hinges do not touch the weather stripping. So this is definitely how it should be. And I'm very happy to see this. So with the deck lid hinges and guards installed, we're now ready to put the deck lid back on. The challenge here would be to align the deck lid hinges so that the deck lid would close evenly and effortlessly and just look straight and everything.
It's like way off.
Way off where?
On the sides, it's supposed to be flush with it, right? It's like there's this big dent.
After a little bit of trial and error, it closes great. Ready? Okay, go.
Yes.
Yay! And the last step is to attach the gas prop, one on each side. And it's just that easy. So, the whole point of this story is if you hear this sound and both doors are closed, check your deck lid.